so it was just my mom and my sister and I, and we grew up in Oregon. And then the end of my sophomore year, I just hated growing up in a small town. When I was in the 4th grade, I went to a one-room school building with 6 kids in the whole school, counting my sister and I. So it was very small, and I was a little bit more progressive. You can't tell by now, but I was a little bit more progressive, and I wanted more, just to figure out what I wanted to do, because I was 20 years old when I moved here, and so I looked in, my mom told me to be a dealer, you know, and so I looked into it, and I went to dealer school. And I learned how to deal, and I was in the gaming business for 18, 19 years before I was struck with the HIV virus. Well, I was struck with the virus a long time ago. But, you know, when I first moved here, I really didn't. I was just career-minded. I wanted to work, you know, and make a living. I worked swing shift for a long time, 7 to 3, 7 at night to 3 in the morning, so you really didn't have much of a nightlife. And I was off during the middle of the week, so I wasn't really involved in the community. And then once I actually got sick and couldn't work anymore, that's when I started devoting my whole life to HIV. That's when I got hooked up with AFAN and started looking to see what they were offering. I had a good job, and so I made good money, and so as far as disability, I wasn't eligible to get funding from different organizations, but I could get all of the programs that they ran, all of the information about HIV and all that. So I started taking classes after classes, and then I got on the Ryan White Planning Council. I was on that for a little while, and then I became one of the co-chairs of the Ryan White Planning Council. And so that's where I really learned on where the funding here in Las Vegas really goes and where it doesn't go. Where I thought people that with HIV needed more care and stuff like that. So I was able to kind of help direct things there. And then I got kicked off the Planning Council because I was too big of a positive voice. They wanted positive people to sit on the board, but when I came on there, I kind of had a too big of a voice for them. They really couldn't handle it. And that really struck me down. You know, I thought I was doing some really good things, and, you know, and I just couldn't figure out, you know, how I could serve my community and make people better, you know, because I was struggling. I was really lost. Didn't have my, you know, I wasn't working, and I'm very career-oriented, and I didn't have anything to do, and so I was kept on volunteering with AFAN, and they taught me so much. I was on the outreach team, learning how to do outreach here in our community for safer sex and drugs and so forth. And then I was doing an outreach at the Blue Moon for the Black and White as a boy, and this gentleman comes up to me and was interested in what I was doing. We had a table set up there, and he asked me what I was doing, and I says, well, we're promoting the Black and White, and we're doing safer sex demonstrations and all that kind of stuff. And he goes, wow, he goes, I do that kind of stuff too, but in a little bit of different shape and form and fashion. I said, you do? I said, well, how do you do that? He goes, well, have you ever heard of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence? And I really didn't, you know, I didn't catch, you know, I've heard the name, but I really didn't know what they were. And he goes, well, we're 21st century drag nuns, and we do HIV, AIDS outreach and education. And I said, really? And I said, well, how does that work? And he goes, well, we dress up and we do this. And so it just went into a big, long conversation. And that was perfect for me, because I thought, wow, I'll be able to use my voice and, you know, do what I can for HIV and people in our community. So I introduced the sisters to AFAN, and I said, you know, you guys need to pull these people out here and do some things with them. They were from LA. Sister Rhoda Kill was the very first sister I ever met, and so they started coming out here for the AIDS walk and Gay Pride. And then when they were coming out a little bit more, I started talking with more of them. A few more came. Rhoda brought Sister Erotica and Margarita out, and we really sat down and started talking and figuring out what they do. And then that night after sitting at the bar, one of my best friends, Daniel, which is Sister Gloria Areola now, we were sitting in my living room, and I said, you know, I want to do something like that. You know, would you be willing to do anything? And he said, shit, hell yeah, you know. I got on the computer one day, actually it was June 18th, got on the computer and I started looking up the sisters and seeing what they were all about. And I read, and then I went to the Mistress of Missions, which is, if you're interested in starting a house, you have to go through the Mistress of Missions in San Francisco, which is the Mother House. And so I read it, and I said, well, I'm going to email. So I typed him out a little email, you know, just saying that I was interested in what do I do. And then Sister Helen on Wheels emailed me back like 2-3 days later, and she says, well, you know, are you sure you want to take this on? You know, it's a really big step, you know. I don't want to, you know, discourage you, but, you know, you need to, you know, collect some friends together and be able to at least have 4 people to create a board and all that. And so I read the emails, and it started fascinating me more and more and more. And so my wheels started clicking. And I started picking out friends that I wanted to be involved in this. And then I was also in a Positive Speakers Bureau here. And through that training, I was met up with 2 different guys, which is Sister Prudence and Sister Griselda. And I really felt a connection with them, and I loved their story. And so I asked them as well. And then I also asked Sister Sue, but she was like, no, I've never put on a dress. I'm not going to do it. No. And I really wanted her. I mean, because Sue and I were both co-chairs of the Rhine White Planning Council together. And Sue's like a father to me. I really look up to him, and I value him, and so I really wanted him a part of our order. And so I kept on going back and forth to him. Come on, you know, I asked a lot of people, and some people turned me down. And then Sister Regina was a friend of Glow's. I knew Regina's brother, so we're all connected. I asked Ethan if we could, you know, come out and present ourselves at the Black and White, and they said yes, and so that was going to be our first time ever being seen as sisters here in Las Vegas.